We are back to our first full week of the season. That's right, the 713 repping here in H-Town. Los Astros, Houston Astros. We're excited. We're pumped. Eric and I are here. We're going to talk about our 26-man roster projection right now.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. Find me on X at Eric Talkstros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can they find you on X?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok at Stros411 on X and on Facebook. So that's Stros with a Z. And Back to the Bullpen on X, on Instagram, on iHeartRadio, and YouTube, where I'm always positive, always Stros. Eric, it's here, man. We are on the precipice, on the cusp of a new season.
It feels like it. I mean, spring training is, I think pitchers, catchers report Thursday already. It's getting pretty close, dude, and I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about every one of y'all that makes us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and make us part of your daily routine. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football's over. We know that the Kansas City team finally lost. They knocked out the Texans. Now they finally got beat, but now it's on to baseball season. And right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Download the app or head to FanDuel to get started today. So, Brett, I saw a report earlier today that there are 4 teams in on Alex Bregman, and the Astros were still one of them.
Right.
But I saw a later report that said that it was down to 3 teams, and the Astros were no longer one of them. I wish, first of all, they would make up their mind, and B, I kind of wish, hopefully, that the Alex Bregman thing is over, because this is he not? The thing is getting kind of old.
Well, when you have someone like Ken Rosenthal who can't give a straight answer to the questions submitted to his Foul Territory podcast, you know there's got to be a lot of ambiguity out there about where he's signing. There is a rumor that Chicago has a 6-year offer on the table. There is a rumor that there's a really nice 3-year deal from Detroit. There is a rumor that Boston, Cora wants him, but the Red Sox front office has not really made any aggressive pleas for Alex Bregman. I think his swing is perfect not in Chicago, his perfect in Boston. I think he would be a legend in Beantown. If the guy is signed there even for 3 years, Eric, he would do more in 3 years at third base with that green monster, at the plate than I think anybody's done in a long time. You would move Devers over. I don't care how much Devers gets paid. You don't move Bregman off of his position unless you put him back to his old position at shortstop or you put him at second. But Bregman fits in Boston. Chicago's not a bad fit because of Tucker, because of, our old friend Ryan Presley. And the only place that they say he seems to be leaning towards is Detroit. His bat plays terrible in Detroit. Now, it doesn't mean he can't join that team and get used to the ballpark and become a good hitter, right? The bottom line is, what are you wanting in Alex Bregman? You want a clutch playoff guy. You want a guy that can hit for contact and a guy that has a great eye at the plate with a high OPS. That's what you're getting. He just came off his first Gold Glove season. He's motivated. But unfortunately, the saga has become like sour milk to most Astros fans, and everyone's just like sign somewhere. Like Ken Rosenthal said, he could sign at the end of this week or next week. That means nothing to me. Just sign a dang contract or go to Boris's spring training facility, but do something.
Yeah, Buster Olney said that he could be signing with the Red Sox, the Cubs, or Tigers soon. This is after Nightingale earlier today said that the Astros were among the teams, but it doesn't matter. I don't see him coming back to Houston. If he was going to come back to Houston, it would be already happening.
Oh,
So
yeah,
what
done
we're
deal.
going to do, yeah, what we're going to do now is we're going to move away from Alex Bregman because I don't want to spend too much time on this. I think that
Yes.
it's just something that's not that big a deal. I really think that we have killed so much time with this offseason. And like I said yesterday, Dana Brown, to his credit, he did not waste a lot of time doing it. He got the job done. Was it really an A- offseason? No. I think there's still a lot of holes on this roster. We're going to look at the roster in a second. But what he did with the situation they're in, they did something and they got the job done. They brought in Walker, they brought in Paredes, and now they brought back Gamble. So they got something done. So they lost 2 players, yes. But you hear Joe Espada today. He said that Cam Smith is going to be a future stud for this organization. And
Yeah.
they got him for 1 year of Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker was not coming back here. So for what I want to do tonight, Brett, is I
Yeah.
want to look at what our predictions for the roster would be opening day. I know there's a lot of things that could happen. They could sign a free agent. There's maybe another trade that could be in
Alex
works.
Verdugo. You could get Alex
Verdugo
Verdugo.
coming.
Everybody wants him. I mean, I'm just saying, you're right. So
Yeah, so there's many things that can happen between now and then, and we don't know. There could be a rising star that we don't even know about, whether that's Pedro Leon, Jacob Melton, or somebody else that just comes out of nowhere. And the Astros always have somebody in spring training that opens the eyes and somehow makes the roster. So we don't know who that guy is right now because spring training is going to start on Thursday. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at the opening day roster, and we're going to go and look at these things. But, Brett, I'm going to throw the catcher to you in a second. But before we do, did you hear that Joe Espada said that he might be tempted to go ahead and throw Pena in as the leadoff hitter every once in a while?
You know what? I heard something about it. I guess it didn't really hit me like it's hitting me now because I wasn't really paying attention when I heard it. I was passively listening. I mean, I guess. Can he get on base? Do they want Altuve to see more pitches before he gets up to the plate? I want to know what that conversation's been like because Altuve, historically, is a great leadoff hitter. He hits leadoff home runs. Is this something that he's going to consider doing, Eric, every once in a while? Are we going to have a ton of lineup variations? Is it going to be a matchup thing? The bottom line is Jeremy Pena's got to hit better this year. He's got to hit for power. He's got to get on base. If he can hit for power, if he can get on base, I don't mind putting him in leadoff. But as for me and my house, we want Jose Altuve leading off.
Yes. So I think that this I think this came on the Crush City podcast, right?
It was probably, it was what it was Chandler Rome and his co-host. I can't remember his name. I feel bad.
Tyler Stafford.
Tyler, thank you. I almost said Eric.
Hi.
They had Joe Espada on, and I believe Joe Espada said this. Joe Espada even said he thinks Cam Smith is going to be, like you said, like an absolute superstar is what you were saying earlier. And he said this kid's got top 10 potential. But yeah, that's where we heard it. We're not making that up. That's from the horse's mouth himself, the skipper, Joe Espada.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But Jeremy Pena is somebody that the Astros have a lot of high hopes on. I know that they're hoping his defense improves a little bit, but I think that what we need to do right now is just focus on who's going to be on the opening day roster. And I think the catching position is fairly easy to predict. Yainer Diaz and Victor Caratini. Do you think the Astros carry a third catcher opening day?
Well, the thing is, if you carry a third catcher opening day, I don't think it's necessary. You have one less bullpen arm. And I think, Eric, the fact that the Astros didn't go get a lot of bullpen help or go out and sign like an AJ Minter or someone else that was out there, although they think they're fine in that category, you did lose Presley. I think you stick with 2 catchers. I think Cesar Salazar is going to have his chance. God forbid Yiner or Victor goes out with any kind of an injury. But I think he can come up if they need to do a third catcher. I don't think you do a third catcher right now. Yiner is clearly the leader of this battery system between the pitchers and the catchers. He is now your veteran. He's going into his second full season as a starter. Victor Caratini is very serviceable, not only behind the plate, but at the plate, switch hitting. He hits better left-handed. He can also play first base. What's cool about your catchers, Eric, is they can both DH. They can both play first base. They can both catch. So the catching position is, I believe, very strong. I like going into the season, talking to Yiner at the TriStar show a few weeks ago. He's very confident with what he's going to produce this year behind the plate. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I may have been mistaken about that. I think I saw that he did speak about Pena, but I don't know if it was about leadoff. Maybe it was just about him being a more of a leader.
No. Okay. You know what, Eric? Yes. Let's correct the record right now, because that's actually what it was. He talked about Jeremy Pena stepping up and taking a leadership role, not a leadoff hitting role. Why? Because Kyle Tucker and because Alex Bregman have exited. And so you have 2 veterans, and Jeremy Pena, to me, can step up into that position. He's earned that. I mean, Hunter Brown's getting in that area. Jordan could be that guy, but he's just not that guy. He's your lead by example guy kind of thing.
Yeah. So, I apologize for that. I've been busy today, and I saw leader and I thought it said lead off. So that was my fault. But guys, thank you for making us a part of your daily routine, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to us, make your first listen, Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go ahead and check us out, and we'll be back after the break.
That's right. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com today. When the game tips off, the NBA action is getting started and heading towards the playoffs, actually towards the All-Star game. There's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, even if you miss the opening tip-off and you want to bet a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay. That's right. What I love about FanDuel is the live betting feature. It keeps every moment right there exciting. Whether I'm backing my team for a late rally comeback or picking a player to hit a clutch 3, I never feel like I missed my chance. Plus, the app is easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. So right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com. Your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Hey guys, thank you for making us first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go ahead and check us out. So, Brett, I know that Joe Espada, speaking to him, he's going to have a lot of interesting decisions, him and his staff, this spring training. He's going to have to rely on a lot more young kids. I think that John Singleton is definitely going to be somebody that's going to make this roster. But what position he's going to play? One position I know he's not going to play a lot of this year is probably going to be first base, because the Astros have Christian Walker. And I think that he's somebody that he's going to occupy a lot of time at first base. But John Singleton might play sometime out there, give him some relief. But John Singleton may play some other position. We'll talk about that in a second. But Christian Walker signed a 3-year deal, $60 million. And he's won 3 consecutive National League Gold Gloves at first base. So I think that this is a good pickup for the Astros.
Yeah.
This was not only a position of need offensively, but I think defensively, this was much needed.
Yeah, definitely. I think Christian Walker is your everyday first baseman. The only reason why Christian Walker isn't in there is he's sick or he's not feeling well. I think the dude plays every day. I don't see you paying him $60 million over 3 years to give. Singleton is a guy that comes straight off the bench. Singleton is a guy, I think he's a one-dimensional player. I think he's a first baseman. I don't think he's ever played anywhere else. I don't think I see him doing anything but a left-handed bat off of the bench coming in to pinch hit against a favorable pitching matchup. You can bring him in as a left-handed option against a pitcher late in the game. But then again, do you want to take the bat of Christian Walker out of the lineup? In other words, I don't see Christian Walker being a DH and then John Singleton starting. If John Singleton starts, it's because something's up with Christian Walker or they're giving him a rest day.
Yeah, it could be rest day off his feet too, as well as a first baseman.
Exactly. Now, there are some non-roster invitees at the utility position that we could see. And I think one of them is a guy that you might want to keep tabs on is Jesus Bastidas. Jesus Bastidas was signed on a flyer, kind of like Zach Short this year. Zach Short was signed, not really to add a whole lot. He just a filler. Bastidas killed it last year in AAA. His bat played way better than they expected. All the projections on him, he far exceeded them. So this is a guy that you talk about your diamonds in the rough, your guys that surprise. I'm not saying he takes Dubon's spot or Singleton's spot, but you keep this guy around because if you need him, if Mauricio Dubon does go down, Bastidas can fit in there nicely. He is a non-roster invitee. So someone would have to go on the IL or they would have to make a move to bring him up. But this kid, Eric, can play some ball.
So the big question mark, Jose Altuve, is he a second baseman or is he a left fielder? This is a decision that the Astros are going to make probably at some point during spring training. They'll give him some games in left field. If for nothing else, to just give them some more roster flexibility. Let's say that there's somebody that's just crushing it down in AAA, and the only position, like let's say it's Bryce Matthews, like he's crushing the ball and he's not ready to play the outfield, but Jose Altuve is ready to play outfield. Maybe you can bring Bryce Matthews up to play second base, and you can move Altuve out. But he's definitely going to be on the team at some place. But right now, we'll leave him at second base, but I think you'll be seeing him play some left field.
Yeah, I think the left field thing will come to fruition. I think they're going to try it out in West Palm. But let's be honest, West Palm, the spring training parks are nothing like playing left field during the regular season. Do you put him in left field during those exhibition games that they play before the season starts? More than likely you do that, especially against the Space Cowboys. But my whole thing is, too, if you want to keep Jose Altuve healthy, I don't know that moving him to left field is necessarily a recipe for health, Eric, especially after talking to Craig Biggio about it and talking about him putting his hand through one of the scoreboard tiles. The last thing I need is Jose Altuve to have another hand injury, okay? We all know what happened when the WBC was here, and he did it with, it was like a non-contact injury trying to avoid a pitch up and in. So freak accidents are going to happen. I just want Altuve to be at second base as much as possible. I think you got someone like Zach DeCenzo, who I think will fill a role in that left field spot. You've got to ease Altuve into the left field, Eric. You can't depend on him to be out there. And I know they want Yordan out there less than 53 games. I mean, what is it about Yordan's knees that we don't know? What is it about the wear and tear that they're worried about that they don't really tell us? And that is what is a little concerning with me. But I tell you what I'm excited about is Jeremy Pena this year. You know, he posted a OPS plus of 100 last year, and he played in a career high 157 games. This kid is going to come out, and he's going to ball out. He'll have Isaac Paredes on his right. He'll have Jose Altuve on his left, and he'll be throwing the ball across the diamond to Christian Walker. This is one hell of an infield that the Astros are sporting in 2025.
All right, so I'm trying to bring up Chancey B's. So Spada mentioned DeCenzo as a right field option today on Crush City Pod. Yeah, we've been talking about that as an option to kind of get another bat in the lineup, especially if let's say
a right field option. See, I was thinking maybe left field, but if he goes right field, okay, then Chaz in left, him in right. Jake in center, I guess is how you would do that, right?
Well, maybe unless somebody else comes up, or maybe if you have, I don't know. I think that it'll play out in spring training. But I was just looking up DeZenzo, and DeZenzo has 15 games in the minor leagues playing second base. He has 26 games in the minors. I know he played some first base last year, but he has some experience playing first base. A majority of it has been playing third base at 120 games. He has played 3 games in left field in the minor leagues. So the outfield may not be entirely familiar to him, but I'm sure DeZenzo, to get some more playing time, I think he'll probably have no issues making adjustments. So we'll go and switch over to third base, because third base, I know a lot of people wish to have a certain Bregman over there, but I think that ship has sailed. So we'll go and continue this discussion next. Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to us, make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go and check us out. And pretty soon, you can watch Brett and I on your Roku device. We're going to be uploading the videos to Roku. We already are on your Amazon Fire TV stick. So multiple ways that you can get the Locked On Astros podcast, your team every day. So we're just talking about the DeZenzo as an option for the outfield.
Right.
If let's just say that the Astros like the idea of Jose Altuve at let's say in left field, and then maybe you could put Paredes at second base. I said maybe. Then DeZenzo could technically play third base. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's the roster flexibility I'm talking about. Not
right.
every day. I'm
right.
just saying that
yeah,
you can have some options.
I just think DeCenzo projects more of an outfielder than an infielder. I think him and Whitcomb. I'm not good with putting Paredes anywhere. I want him at third base. I think that's his primary position. I think that's where he plays best. Okay, but in the outfield, we've got a ton of options, Eric. Third base, you do have flexibility. Third base, again, DeCenzo. I mean, Whitcomb could come up. Heck, Bryce Matthews could really mash the ball and come up. I mean, they're really high on Bryce Matthews, and I talked to Bryce this summer. He's super excited about his opportunities. But in the outfield, I do want to say, don't forget that we have Taylor Trammell and we re-signed Ben Gamel. So I think with outfield, we have a lot of platoon guys, which I think that worries a lot of people. But when you have Yordan in the mix, when you can shift an Altuve out there, if you do shift Altuve in the outfield, if you feel comfortable with DeCenzo playing third, yeah, go ahead and do that. But those guys have got to be prepped for that hot corner. And ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be different. It's going to be different without Alex Bregman at third base. He has been one of the stellar pieces of this run, of this 2 World Series run, 4 World Series appearances, 7 straight ALCS, 8 straight playoff years. So it will be interesting to see if anybody else other than Paredes joins third base and if they get significant playing time, because Paredes, I think, is going to be one of your great pull side hitters. You've got your first and your third base guys on the corners, both potential with 30 plus home run power. Then you've got Yiner who can hit plenty, 20 plus. You got Altuve who can hit 20. And if Jeremy hits the ball well, you can hit 20. I mean, you got a lot of home runs right there in your infield. And you haven't even gotten to Yordan Alvarez yet.
All right. Here's my conspiracy theorist or something in me. What if the Astros are secretly trying to see how Jose Altuve looks in the outfield? Because Bryce Matthews is technically a natural second baseman. So this could be their way to bring him up to play second base. So you have Altuve, whose defensive skills are deteriorating at second base, and see how he looks in outfield. And so,
okay, like, again, I keep hearing that. I keep hearing Altuve is a cheerleader at second base. I have a question. Why? And this is not just you. This is like everybody's saying it. I never heard this.
Defensive metrics.
I know, but I never heard it to be such a big topic in the Astros world until now. Until
Because he's Jose Altuve. He does no wrong. If he makes an error, oh, that's Altuve. It's okay, little guy.
No, I'm just saying, like everybody acts like though he's a scrub at second. Now, I'm not saying he's the best defensive second baseman, but he's not terrible. They're like, we're gonna throw him in the outfield because he sucks at second now. Well, he's gonna play left field. He's never played left field. He's 5'6". You hit a line drive over his head every time. He's not going to jump and catch a line drive. I'm not sold on the Altuve to left field thing. I just am not. I mean, if Altuve was 6'2", I'm like, put the dude in left field every freaking game. I don't care, but he's not. I don't like it. Keep Altuve at second. Keep him there. Leave my dude alone. Someone says he'll be fine in the outfield. Yes, with reps. Look, Jose Altuve is a hard worker. And Jose Altuve was so excited about his outfield work. Every time he works out, he sends the footage to Joe Espada. And I said on this show, I did a solo show afterwards. Joe Espada said, and Dana Brown saw Jose Altuve diving for baseballs. And their words to him were, Jose, don't you know that you've made the team already? You're not trying to make the team. So we know that no matter where he goes, Jose Altuve is going to take that badge of honor and he's going to play whatever position they put him at. But for me, I still do not want Jose Altuve in the outfield a lot. That's all I'm saying. It's not my decision, but I love my Altuve healthy and I don't want him running through a wall in Minute Maid Park. Or I don't know. If he robs a home run in the Crawford boxes, I will be quiet.
And who can really rob the home run in the Crawford boxes? Honestly,
I'm just saying, you do that Altuve, and I'll stop.
But no, I think it's all going to be determined in spring training. If he looks good in left field, it's an option. I don't think they're going to move him just to move him for a rookie. No, I'm just saying that eventually this could be option because if he continues to deteriorate at second base, this is just something that it could be an option. So this is not something that is coming from. We're not the only ones saying it. People are right. Down the Rome came on. You have Ari Alexander. People are saying across baseball. So it's not just us saying that his defense is going downhill. So he's not getting any younger either. So that's another issue. So
someone said outfield. Someone said maybe he can scale the scoreboard.
Get out the Spider-Man.
Early jump. And he's parkour Altuve. I need a bobblehead where Altuve's climbing the scoreboard. That's what I need. We need more bobbleheads. That's what we need. Rocket boosters on Altuve.
Maybe he could just get a net. Maybe he could go gadget arms.
No,
go gadget.
We'll just get one of the GLG lifts. One of the, the old JLG lift from the plant.
All right. Well, anyway, we got off task a little bit too much, but for the bench, we got Dubon and John Singleton. So I think with the starting pitching, you're going to have Framber Valdez, you're going to have Hunter Brown, Ronel Blanco, Spencer Arrighetti, Hayden Wesneski. I don't know a lot about this guy, but they say they're going to put him in a rotation. So let's see what he's about.
He will be in the rotation. I'm just going to tell you right now. Dana Brown is convinced he's got starting stuff. He's 27. The kid can throw the baseball, and Hayden Wesneski will be your fifth starter. It's Framber Valdez, Hunter Brown, Ronel Blanco, Spencer Arrighetti, Hayden Wesneski. That's been my starting five. Now, you do have Ryan Gusto, Eric, who was supposed to get a start. Our last game that got canceled last year. Colton Gordon, who is the number 12 prospect in our system. So these two guys could come up and really, get an opportunity for these guys to do a spot start. this pitching rotation is not bad. It's really where we lack is the relief area, the bullpen, and that's even not that bad. It's just a little shallow.
And I think especially with Presley gone, you're going to see a return of Rafael Montero. I think that they want to kind of make use of the money that he's owed. And so they're going to see what's going on with him in spring training. You heard Ari Alexander come on and say that Caleb Ort is his dark horse to be a dominant force in his bullpen.
Yeah.
Forrest Whitley, somebody I've been saying this is his year, and it's got to be his year because there's no more options. I know that Brian Keane, Taylor Scott, Brian Abreu, Josh Hader. It's still weird without Ryan Presley. It's weird, dude. But the last one, I'm not so sure about. Sean Dubin. I know he shows some positive signs, but who else could make the bullpen?
Who else could make the bullpen out of you have Nick Hernandez, you have Luis Contreras, you have Steven Okert. Those guys will definitely come in for competition. But I mean, Sean Dubin threw 45 and a third innings in 2024, dude. King was 26 and a third. Ort was 24 and 2/3. So they did a lot of work. I think Dubin's going to be better this year. You know, Dubin, he's kind of a guy that he needs to get going on the mound. One or two hitters, he kind of finds his groove. But I think he's honing in his pitches. You know, we had him on last year before he went on the road. You know, hopefully it's next year we'll get him back on in season. He's definitely a friend of the show. But Eric, I really like Taylor Scott this next year. I really like there's a guy that could come up that you people may not want to hear the name of. And Eric, you and I talked about him before the show, Rafael Montero. He is someone that people don't have a lot of faith in, Eric. We're paying him a lot of money. And because of the money we're paying him, right, the Astros are going to probably give Montero a shot to make this roster because he is getting $11 million.
Yeah. So we'll see. But Luis Contreras came up. Nick Hernandez has shown some positive signs. So I think it's just a matter of who has the better spring training, honestly, what they need. I think it's going to be maybe a analytics, like matchup type thing for a while there, and just who's hot in spring training. So I think the bullpen is going to be a revolving door, and that's what most bullpens are, I think. So I think that's all I got. The only question is the Astros roster as is deep enough? Good enough? Is it good enough to win, not just in the AL West, but to win in the AL? So I guess that's what we can ask ourselves again, now that we know that Bregman's not coming back, likely. We could talk about that in tomorrow's podcast. So guys, thank you for making us part of your daily routine, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to us. Make us first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out. And we'll be back tomorrow. And Brett, what do we always say?
Go Stros. Bury me in the H, baby. Or Los Stros. How's that? To go with the hat.
We'll see you tomorrow, guys, and have a good night.
See ya. So Altuve needs booster boots.
Or spring shoes.
Spring shoes. There